Hi, this is Aiden and this is my round one final project. I did climates and how it affects people that live in that climate. So if you click on this button right here, it will go to Mr. Solar's website. And so my first climate that I did was tundra. And so the Inuits that live there would mainly eat fish, but they would also hunt seals at breeding holes and spend springs hunting basking seals. And in late summer, they would go inland and hunt caribou. And they would make temporary snow house communities out on the sea ice. And they also, earlier populations of Eskimos or Inuits would make permanent semi-subterranean houses during the winter instead of snow houses, sometimes staying in the same village for summer. They live their lives this way because of their tundra climate. And my next climate that I did was arid climate, kind of like desert, as you can tell in the picture. And Vermont people live there way back then, and they ate deer, rabbits, and they also harvested corn and other vegetables. They lived in small, single and extended family units with compromising villages ranging from 2 to a dozen house structures, and they also made smoky huts inside mountains. Farmers were there too, and they made small villages. And they built houses and food storage facilities. And then the Vermont could not survive because they could not adapt to a climate change that happened in their area of the desert. And yeah, my third one is highland climate. So, oopsies. And so in the Scottish Highlands, they would all kinds of people live there, and the people that live in this area, they would make their houses out of stone gathered from the hillsides. They would make their roofs out of iron or thatches of reeds and heather, and they would cut peat from the moors, making fuel for cooking and heating. And people also made farms near the coast. They ate fish from the ocean, and they also raised sheep on farms, but the rugged ground, poor soil, and excessive rain made it hard to raise the sheep. They also raised a few cattle on the glens, and their climate made their lifestyle this way. My fourth climate was the dry wetland climate, and Seminoles live there. And the first Seminoles that ever came to Florida made log cabin-like houses, and they were about 2 stories high. And upstairs there were sleeping quarters, but the limited supplies of the dry wetland climate made the Seminoles have to use a palmetto thatch and a cypress log frame. The structure would last 10 years, but every 5 years they would have to replace the roof. And Seminole men went out on canoes and speared fish, meaning they would take spears and throw them at fish. And they also hunted other animals like otters, raccoons, bobcats, turtles, alligators, and birds. They also caught deer, and they also picked mangoes, pineapples, guava, oranges, mulberry teas, and they planted pumpkins, pawpaws, and corn. So as you can see, they ate a lot of fruit because the dry wetland only gave them a lot of fruit. But they live this way because of their climate. My last one that I did was the prairie and grassland. And American Indians in the Great Plains. American Indian, I will tell you about, or 10,000 lived 10,000 years before right now. And they grew their own crops and ate about any animal they could find. And they would also eat local vegetation. And most of their lives were hunting the bison and following the bison wherever they went. So, wherever the bison went, they would follow if the bison were the only food around where they were living right now. Because of them following the bison around, their houses were made out of grass, and they would make grass house villages nearby your house woman-made gardens filled with your crops that you made. And there's this last page that I made. If you click on these, don't click on the links, but if you click on these words, then you can go to a website about where I found my information. So I hope you like this,